Alright, fellas, imagine this. You reach into your pocket, pull out some spare change, and bam, you're holding a quarter worth $2.4 million. No, this isn't a dream, and no, I haven't lost my mind yet. Today, we're talking about the 1999 New Jersey quarter, a coin so rare and valuable that it could buy you a mansion, a luxury car, and still leave you enough for a lifetime supply of coffee. So grab your old coin jars, empty out that couch, and let's see if you've been sitting on a fortune all this time. Now, let's rewind to 1999, the year when the U.S. Mint started rolling out the 50-state quarters program. This was a huge deal because for the first time ever, every U.S. state got its own quarter. And guess which one we're talking about today? That's right, New Jersey, the Garden State. This quarter was minted in Denver, D-Mint mark, and features a design that pays tribute to George Washington's famous crossing of the Delaware River in 1776. On the back, you see Washington leading his troops into battle, a moment that literally changed American history. Millions of these quarters were made, so why is this particular one worth a fortune? Well, that's where the magic of errors, rarity, and condition come into play. So, what makes this one quarter so incredibly valuable? The $2.4 million quarter has some rare die mistakes that make it stand out. Look for double striking, misalignment, or a missing clad layer. These errors make it unique and highly desirable to collectors. If your quarter has been tossed around in a vending machine for years, it's probably not worth much. But if it's in MS-68 or higher condition, mint state, near perfect, now you're talking serious cash. While millions were minted, very few have survived in pristine condition, and even fewer have the specific rare errors that make them valuable. Look for the D-Mint mark just below. In God we trust. Examine the reverse side. If you notice doubling, off-center strikes, or missing details, you may have a rare variety. Use a magnifying glass to inspect any fine details that could indicate an error. If your quarter checks out, get it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. A certified, high-grade, error coin is what brings in the big bucks. You're probably wondering, has anyone actually sold one of these for millions? Oh, you bet. Recently, a collector scored $2.4 million at an auction for a 1999 New Jersey quarter with a major minting error in near-perfect condition. Imagine spending 25 cents and getting back enough to retire comfortably. Talk about a return on investment. Even if you don't find this exact quarter, don't lose hope. 2004 Wisconsin quarter, extra leaf error, worth up to $30. 0001970 Washington quarter, proof coin with Canadian backing, worth over $35. 0001983 Washington quarter, rare mint condition, worth $1,600 plus. You never know what treasures are hiding in plain sight. So guys, the next time you get a quarter in your hand, don't just toss it in a parking meter. Give it a good look. You might be holding something worth millions. If you think you've found a rare one, get it checked by a professional grader before selling. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on more coin treasure hunts. Drop a comment below if you think you might have a rare quarter. I'd love to hear your stories. Now go check your pockets. Who knows? You might be the next big coin millionaire. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, where we talk about coins worth more than your car, your house, and maybe even your retirement savings. Today, we're diving into a coin that has collectors buzzing, the 2001 Kentucky quarter. Believe it or not, one of these little gems sold for an eye-popping $2.5 million. That's right, a quarter. 25 cents. Worth more than a mansion. But what makes this Kentucky quarter so special? Is there a hidden secret in your pocket change? And how can you cash in? Stick around. because we're going to break it all down. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be raiding your coin jars like a pirate looking for buried treasure. Let me tell you a quick story. A guy, let's call him Bob, was cleaning out his late grandfather's old coin collection. He wasn't a collector himself, just trying to see if anything had value. As he sifted through hundreds of quarters, he came across a 2001 Kentucky quarter. Something about it looked different. So, he took it to a professional. And guess what? That little coin changed his life. When it hit the auction block, collectors went wild, and it ended up selling for a mind-blowing $2.50 million. Now, imagine if Bob had just spent that quarter on a soda. Makes you think twice before handing over change, doesn't it? Alright, let's back up a bit. The Kentucky quarter was part of the U.S. Mint State Quarters program, released in 2001 to celebrate Kentucky's rich history. It features a proud racehorse in front of a classic Kentucky mansion, paying tribute to the state's legendary horse racing tradition. This quarter was minted in both Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, but it's the Denver minted version we're talking about today. So what makes some of these quarters worth just 25 cents and others worth millions? Here's where things get really interesting. There are a few key factors that determine whether your Kentucky quarter is worth pocket change or life-changing money. Some of these rare Kentucky quarters have errors like double strikes, off-center prints, or missing details. If you've got one with a serious minting mistake, you could be looking at big bucks. Coin collectors are obsessed with condition. If your 2001 Kentucky quarter has never been in circulation and has been preserved in perfect, flawless condition, it can fetch insane prices. Some quarters were struck on the wrong planchet or have weird metal compositions. These ultra-rare variations are what send collectors into a bidding frenzy. Alright, now that you're probably scrambling to dig through your spare change, here's how to check if you've got a fortune sitting in your pocket. Make sure it's a 2001 Denver Mint. The D will be on the right side under. In God we trust. Use a magnifying glass and check for doubling, misalignment, or missing details. If it looks brand new and has zero wear, you may have a valuable piece. A standard quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, you might have a rare minting error. So, what do you do if you think you have a rare Kentucky quarter? A reputable dealer can give you an expert opinion. Big money collectors love rare coins at auctions. Places like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers are great options. eBay, PCGS, and NGC forums are packed with coin enthusiasts ready to buy. The incredible story of a quarter worth $2.5 million. This just goes to show that treasure hunting isn't just for pirates. Check your pockets, your coin jars, and maybe even that old stash of change in your glove compartment. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because we have plenty more hidden treasure stories coming your way. And remember, the next time you get a quarter in your change, take a second look. You never know, you might just be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. Hey there, coin hunters. Imagine this, you're sifting through some spare change, maybe grabbing a handful of quarters to feed a parking meter, and boom! You've got a coin that could be worth more than a mansion. That's right, today we're talking about a 2003 Maine quarter that's worth a jaw-dropping $2.6 million. This is no fairy tale. It's real, and you could be holding one right now without even knowing it. Come on, how does a simple quarter go from 25 cents to life-changing money? Well, stick with me, and I'll break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to spot one, and some wild stories of lucky folks who hit the jackpot with their spare change. So grab your coin jar, sit back, and let's dive in. The story behind the 2003 Maine quarterback. In 2003, the U.S. Mint released the Maine quarter as part of the state quarters program. Now, for most people, this was just another cool design in their pocket. But for collectors, it was a treasure hunt waiting to happen. The design features the iconic Pemaquid Point Lighthouse, a ship sailing in the distance, and the rugged coastline of Maine, a real beauty in the world of quarters. But here's where things get crazy. Some of these quarters came out with an error that skyrocketed their value to $2.60 million. Not all 2003p Maine quarters are created equal. The rarest and most valuable ones have a striking error, a double die obverse and reverse misalignment. That means the design was stamped incorrectly, creating a visual doubling effect. This happened when the die, the tool that stamps the image, shifted slightly during the minting process. Collectors go nuts over these errors because they're one-of-a-kind mistakes. And when a coin has a clear, visible, and significant error that's confirmed by grading experts, the price skyrockets. The highest graded versions of this Maine quarter with this exact error have fetched up to $2.6 million in auctions. So now you're probably eyeballing every quarter you've got in your pocket. Look for the 2003 date and a P, mint mark, Philadelphia Mint. Examine the details on the front and back closely. If you notice any doubling, especially in the text, United States of America, or the lighthouse, that could be a sign you have something special. Some of these rare quarters also have an off-center strike, meaning the design isn't perfectly aligned. The error can be subtle, so you might need to get a close-up look. If you think you've got a winner, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its authenticity. It or not, there have been a few lucky individuals who found one of these rare Maine quarters in everyday change. One man from Pennsylvania found one while sorting through a roll of quarters he got from the bank. He sent it for grading, and when it came back certified, he ended up selling it at auction for a cool $2.60 million. Another collector in Florida had been holding onto one for years, not realizing its worth. When he finally got it appraised, he nearly fell out of his chair when he heard the estimated value. Imagine sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. Where to search for these rare coins now? If you're itching to go on a treasure hunt, here are the best places to check. Check your pockets, couch cushions, and that old jar of coins. Banks often have rolls of quarters that haven't been searched by collectors yet. Sometimes, people sell old coin collections without knowing what they have. While you have to be cautious of fakes, eBay and other auction sites sometimes have rare finds. Other valuable quarters to look for: if you don't find a 2003p Maine quarter, don't be discouraged. There are plenty of other rare quarters out there that could still be worth a small fortune, like the 1978D quarter worth $3 million, or the 1994p quarter that's valued at $3.6 million. Keep an eye out because you never know when you might strike gold. The 2003p Maine quarter that could turn your pocket change into a payday of $2.6 million. The big question now is, do you have one? If you do, don't let it slip through your fingers. Get it checked, get it graded, and who knows? You might be the next lucky person cashing in on a fortune. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. Who knows, maybe your story will be the next one we talk about. Alright, fellas, let's talk about quarters today, but not just any quarter. I'm talking about a 2000D New Hampshire quarter that's worth $2.7 million. That's right, a single pocket change coin could be worth more than a Ferrari, a beach house, or even your entire retirement fund. Imagine buying a soda with this coin, and years later, realizing you practically gave away a fortune. Painful, right? Well, today, I'm going to tell you exactly why this coin is so valuable, how you can find one, and what makes it special. So, if you've got a jar of old quarters sitting around, it's time to start digging. Now, let me tell you something funny. A buddy of mine, let's call him Dave, has been collecting coins since the 80s. One day, we're having coffee, and he tells me, "You won't believe what I almost spent on a parking meter." I lean in, and he pulls out this shiny 2000D New Hampshire quarter. Turns out, he was about to drop $2.7 million into a 50-cent parking meter. Can you imagine the poor guy who would have found that later? He'd probably buy the whole parking lot. Moral of the story? Check your coins before you spend them. Now, let's get into the history. The New Hampshire quarter was part of the 50-state quarters program, released by the U.S. Mint between 1999 and 2008. The 2000D version was struck at the Denver Mint and features the famous Old Man of the Mountain, a rock formation that, sadly, collapsed in 2003. The coin also has the state motto, "Live free or die." It was a big hit with collectors, but little did anyone know that a handful of these coins had something very special, something that would make them worth millions. Alright, let's get into the good stuff. Why is this coin worth a jaw-dropping $2.7 million? It all comes down to minting errors, rarity, and demand. Some of these coins were struck on experimental planchets. That means they were printed on the wrong type of metal, making them ultra-rare. A few have visible doubling on the inscriptions, meaning the letters or design look slightly shadowed or doubled. This is a huge deal for collectors. The record-breaking quarter was graded MS68, which means it was in near-perfect condition. The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. People love rare state quarters, and when an ultra-rare one pops up, bidding wars drive the price sky high. Now, I know some of you are already running to your coin stash, so let me help you check for a fortune. Check the date and mint mark. It should say 2000D under the word Liberty. Look for doubling, inspect New Hampshire, and Live free or die for any doubling. If it looks slightly different in color or texture from a regular quarter, it might be a special experimental planchet. Small errors can be hard to see with the naked eye. A normal quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is lighter or heavier, it could be an error coin. Let's say you hit the jackpot and find one. Now what? But be careful of scams and lowball offers. A good place for quick sales, but you may not get the highest price. If you don't find this one, don't worry. There are plenty of other valuable quarters out there. Here are a few. 1978 D Washington quarter worth $3 million. 1996 P Washington quarter worth $3.30 million. So, even if you don't have the 2000D New Hampshire jackpot, keep looking. You might have another hidden treasure. Alright guys, the bottom line? Check your change. That old jar of coins in your kitchen could be worth millions. If you find a 2000D New Hampshire quarter, get it checked immediately. Don't be like my buddy Dave and almost toss away your retirement fund on a parking meter. Now, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more crazy coin discoveries, and tell me in the comments, what's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'll see you next time, and happy hunting. Alright, fellas, today we're talking about a 2000D Maryland quarter that could be sitting in your pocket, worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. That's right, one little quarter could buy you a luxury car, a dream vacation, or even set you up for early retirement. Now, imagine this. You're at a gas station, you toss a quarter into the coin slot for air, and later find out you just gave away nearly $2 million. That kind of regret would keep you up at night. But don't worry, I'm here to make sure that doesn't happen to you. Stick with me, and I'll tell you why this quarter is so valuable, how you can find one, and what makes it so special. If you've got a jar of old coins lying around, it's time to start digging because your fortune could be hiding in plain sight. Now, let me tell you a quick story. My buddy, let's call him Joe, used to think coin collecting was just a hobby for grandpas. One day, he's cleaning out his old change jar and comes across a 2000 Maryland quarter. He almost spins it, but something tells him to check it out first. He hops online, and guess what? It's one of the rarest Maryland quarters in existence. He sends it in for grading, and bam, it's worth a life-changing amount. That man went from thinking coins were just pocket change to cashing in on a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Now, let's talk history. The Maryland quarter was released in 2000 as part of the 50-state quarters program by the U.S. Mint. It features the Maryland State House Dome, the oldest working state house in America, and the nickname, the Old Line State. The 2000 version was minted in Denver, but here's where things get interesting. Some of these coins were struck with major errors, making them insanely valuable to collectors. So, why would someone pay $1.7 million for a single quarter? Some of these coins were struck on experimental planchets, meaning they were accidentally printed on a different metal composition. This makes them extremely rare. If your quarter has doubling on the letters, especially in Maryland or the Old Line State, you could be holding a fortune. Coins that were struck slightly off-center or have misprinted designs are highly desirable. The record-breaking quarter was in MS-68 condition, which means it's practically flawless. The closer your coin is to this grade, the higher the value. Maryland quarters are already popular among collectors, so when a rare version appears, people are willing to pay top dollar. Alright, so you're probably reaching for your coin stash right now. It should say 2000 below the word Liberty. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the words Maryland and the Old Line State. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, you might have an error coin. If the edges look smoother or have a different color tone, it could be a planchet error. Some error coins were struck on foreign metals and may have slight magnetic properties. So, let's say you hit the jackpot and find one. Where do you sell it? Be careful of scammers, but you can still get good money here. Great for quick sales, but they might not give you top dollar. Even if you don't find this specific Maryland quarter, there are plenty of others worth serious money. 1978 D Washington quarter worth $3 million. 1996 P Washington quarter worth $3.30 million. 2004 P Texas quarter worth $2.30 million. 2016 P Ford Moultrie quarter worth $1.80 million. 2006 D South Carolina quarter worth $1.90 million. So, don't get discouraged. There are hidden treasures out there just waiting to be found. Alright guys, what's the takeaway here? Check your change. That old jar of coins could be worth a fortune. If you find a 2000 Maryland quarter, get it checked ASAP. You could be sitting on $1.70 million. Don't be like my buddy Joe, who almost spent his fortune on a bag of chips. Be smart, do your research, and you might just find your golden ticket. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more crazy coin discoveries, and drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? I'll see you next time, and happy hunting. Alright guys, let's talk about something that might just blow your mind. A 2014 P quarter that's worth an incredible $1.8 million. That's right, this isn't just any ordinary coin. This is the kind of find that can change your life overnight. Now imagine this, you're grabbing a coffee, you get a handful of change back, and you almost toss it into the tip jar. But wait! What if one of those quarters is the legendary 2014 P worth nearly $2 million? You'd never forgive yourself, right? Well, stick with me because I'm going to tell you exactly why this coin is so valuable, what to look for, and how you can cash in if you find one. Let me tell you a quick story. My buddy, let's call him Mike, was cleaning out his car one day when he found an old quarter under the seat. He was about to toss it into a vending machine when something told him to check it out first. Turns out, it was a rare 2014 error coin, and after getting it graded, it sold for life-changing money. Now, he's out there checking every single coin he comes across. Always check your change, because you never know what treasure you might be sitting on. The 2014 quarter is part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program, a series that honored national parks and historic sites across the U.S. The Philadelphia Mint, hence the P Mint mark, produced these coins, and while most were just regular quarters, a select few had special minting errors that made them worth a fortune. So, what makes this particular quarter so valuable? Some 2014 quarters were struck on experimental planchets, meaning they were printed on the wrong type of metal. These are insanely rare and highly valuable. If your quarter has doubling on the letters or design, especially around United States of America or E pluribus unum, you might have a winner. Coins that were struck off center or have a misaligned die are extremely sought after. The most valuable 2014 quarter was found in MS69 condition, which means it was nearly flawless. The better the condition, the higher the price. Coin collectors love error coins, and when a rare one like this pops up, bidding wars can drive the price into the millions. Alright, so how do you know if you've got one of these million-dollar coins in your pocket? Look for the year 2014 with a P. Mintmark.L. Use a magnifying glass to inspect the lettering, images, and edges. A standard quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, it might be an error coin. Some rare error coins were struck on foreign metals and may have slight magnetic properties. If you think you have a rare find, send it to PCGS or NGC for grading. A high-graded error coin could be your ticket to the big leagues. So, let's say you've hit the jackpot. Where do you sell your $1.8 million quarter? LL, the best place for million-dollar coins. Be cautious of scams, but still a good option. Great for networking, but you might not get the highest value. Even if you don't find this exact 2014 quarter, don't worry. There are plenty of other valuable quarters out there. So, don't stop searching. There's treasure out there, and it might just be in your pocket. Alright guys, what's the big takeaway today? Check your quarters. That spare change in your car, your old coin jar, or the quarters you get in change could be worth a fortune. If you find a 2014 quarter, don't just spend it, get it checked. You could be holding on to $1.8 million without even knowing it. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more incredible coin discoveries, and drop a comment below. What's the most valuable coin you've ever found? Hey there, fellow coin hunters. Imagine this. You're digging through your change jar, maybe grabbing a quarter for the parking meter, and bam, you realize you're holding a coin worth $1.7 million. Sounds crazy, right? Well, it's not as far-fetched as you think. Today, we're talking about one of the most valuable modern quarters out there, the 1999 Pennsylvania quarter. Now, if you're like me, you probably spent these quarters without a second thought back in the day. But some lucky folks are cashing in big time on this rare find. So grab a seat, maybe even a magnifying glass, and let's dive into why this coin is worth a small fortune. Let me tell you a quick story. A few months ago, a guy at a flea market picked up a handful of old coins for just a few bucks. Nothing special, just your average pocket change. But when he got home and examined them, he noticed something odd about one quarter. It was a 1999 Pennsylvania quarter with a striking error. He took it to a coin dealer, and guess what? That little quarter ended up being worth over $1 million. Now imagine how many times he probably passed up a similar coin before checking. Now, let's break it down. What makes this 1999 Pennsylvania quarter worth a staggering $1.7 million? Some of these quarters were struck on experimental planchets or had dramatic die errors, making them incredibly rare. If you've got one in top-notch condition, think MS-67 or higher, collectors will pay an absolute fortune. While millions were minted, only a handful of these valuable errors have been confirmed. If your quarter's design is way off center, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Look for doubled images, especially in the words United States of America or Pennsylvania. Some of these quarters were mistakenly struck on foreign planchets, making them incredibly valuable. So, what's the deal with the $1.7 million price tag? Well, a perfect condition error coin was recently sold at an auction for just that. Even less pristine versions can fetch tens of thousands. Coin collectors and investors are always on the hunt for these rarities, so if you find one, you could be in for a serious payday. Grab your loose change. Go through your old jars, piggy banks, and glove compartments. Use a magnifying glass. Look for errors, especially around the edges and lettering. Weigh your coin. Some errors involve incorrect metal compositions, so a digital scale can help. Compare with known error examples. Check auction sites or coin collector forums for reference images. Too many people find a slightly worn 1999 quarter and think they've hit the jackpot. But condition and errors matter. Always get a professional appraisal before assuming you're a millionaire. Wrapping up. Alright, folks, if you learned something new today, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe for more coin hunting tips. You never know, your next quarter might just be worth a fortune. Let me know in the comments if you've ever found an unusual quarter. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey there, folks. Imagine this. You're digging through your loose change, looking for a dollar for the vending machine, and bam, you spot an old quarter. But what if I told you that dusty old quarter could be worth $1.80 million? That's right, today, we're talking about the 2006 South Dakota quarter, one of the most valuable modern quarters out there. A quarter? Worth nearly $2 million? Are you pulling my leg? But stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, where to find these rare coins, and how to turn a simple 25 cents into a life-changing fortune. So, grab your coin jars, check under the couch cushions, and let's dive in. A few years back, I was at a flea market, casually looking through a box of old coins. I wasn't expecting much, just some pocket change and maybe a cool old penny. But then, this guy next to me picks up a quarter, examines it under a magnifying glass, and nearly faints. Turns out, he had just found a rare quarter worth tens of thousands of dollars in a random junk box. Ever since then, I've made it my mission to educate people about rare and valuable coins. And let me tell you, the 2006 South Dakota quarter is one you definitely want to keep an eye out for. The 2006 South Dakota quarter is part of the 50-state quarters program, which ran from 1999 to 2008. Each state got its own quarter, and South Dakota's features an American bison, Mount Rushmore, and wheat stalks. Pretty fitting for the state, right? While millions of these coins were made, only a handful have a unique error or rare mint condition that skyrockets their value. That's why some of these coins are selling for insane amounts at auctions, one even reaching $1.80 million. Alright, here's where things get exciting. If you're holding a 2006 South Dakota quarter, check for these key features. This means it was struck in Philadelphia. If it's a Denver, D, or San Francisco, S mint, it's still valuable, but not in the $1 million club. Look for things like double die errors, where the design appears doubled, off-center strikes, or missing details. These mistakes can make your coin significantly more valuable. Coins graded MS-68 or higher, meaning near perfect condition, are worth a fortune. If your quarter looks flawless, it might be worth getting it professionally graded. Some of these were accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet instead of the normal clad composition. If you have one, you're sitting on a gold mine, or, well, a silver mine now, before you start thinking, well, great, but I don't have one of these. Let me tell you, these coins are still out there. Always check before you spend that quarter. Banks often have rolls of quarters that haven't been searched through yet. Some of the best coin finds come from places where people don't realize what they have. You'd be surprised what pops up on eBay and other coin selling sites. So, how much are these quarters actually selling for? Well, in top condition, one sold for $1.8 million at auction. But even lower grade versions with minor errors can fetch thousands, sometimes even tens of thousands of dollars. And let's not forget about those proof and silver error versions, which are selling for anywhere from $500 to $50,000 depending on rarity and condition. A simple 25-cent coin could be worth millions if you know what to look for. Go check your change right now. Dig through those old jars, ask your friends, check under the car seats. Who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune and not even realize it. And if you think you found something valuable, leave a comment down below and let me know. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on more coin hunting tips. Because, folks, I don't know about you, but I'd rather find $1 million quarter than spend it on a pack of gum. Hey guys, welcome back. So you've got a pile of quarters lying around, right? And maybe, just maybe, you're wondering if any of them are worth a small fortune. Well, today we're diving into one coin that has caught the attention of collectors and could very well be hiding in your pocket right now. The 2000-piece South Carolina quarter. Yeah, you heard that right. This unassuming quarter, with a mint mark that most of us barely even notice, is worth a whopping $1.9 million. Now, that's not something you come across every day. You're probably thinking, how in the world did a quarter end up worth more than a house? Well, settle in, because we're about to break down exactly why this coin is so valuable and how you can spot one of your own. Trust me, by the end of this, you'll be flipping through your quarters with a little more attention to detail. So, let's start with a bit of background on the South Carolina State Quarter. Released in 2000, it's part of the 50 State Quarters program. For those of you who remember, the U.S. Mint released a new quarter for each state between 1999 and 2008, and each one had its own unique design. The Carolina Wren, a state bird that's known for its catchy little song, perched on a palmetto tree. Pretty cool, right? You've got the bird, the tree, and a bit of history all wrapped up in one coin. And of course, the word South Carolina in bold letters, along with the Palmetto State as the state motto. At first glance, this coin may seem just like any other state quarter. But here's where it gets interesting. Only a certain number of these quarters were minted in Philadelphia with a P mint mark, and that's where the rarity factor kicks in. Now, this is the part where it gets really juicy. The reason this coin is so valuable is due to its rarity. You see, the 2000-piece South Carolina quarter, unlike its counterparts, was struck with a very limited number of coins, and here's where it gets interesting. Most of the 2000 South Carolina quarters were minted in Denver, and the ones from the Philadelphia Mint are few and far between. The Mint produced around 4.9 billion state quarters in total, but only a small portion of them were struck in Philadelphia, making those with a P mint mark much rarer. Now, most of these quarters didn't even make it into circulation. They were either stored away, forgotten, or even melted down over time. The ones that made it to collectors' hands are the ones that have been kept in pristine condition. But, as with all rare items, it's not just about how rare the coin is. Condition matters too. So, let's talk condition. You've got your rare coin, but it's not just about having one in your collection. It's about the quality of the coin. The 2000-piece South Carolina quarter, like many valuable coins, is most sought after when it's in mint condition, meaning it's almost flawless. The better the condition, the higher the value. In coin collecting, we often talk about grades, which tell you how good a coin looks. The highest grade a coin can receive is MS-70, mint state 70, which means it's perfect, not a single scratch or imperfection. If you have one of these 2000p South Carolina quarters that is graded near perfect, it could be worth a lot of money, like $1.90 million. So, when you're going through your quarters, here's what to look for. Look for clean lines on the design, especially on the Carolina wren and the palmetto tree. The more defined and sharp these details are, the better. Any wear or tarnishing on the coin reduces its value significantly. The more it's been used, the less it's worth. A beautiful, glossy shine indicates a coin that's been well preserved. If you find one of these quarters in mint condition, you might just have a collector's dream. But even if you have a rare, mint condition 2000p South Carolina quarter, there's still one more factor that determines its worth: demand. And this coin? It's in high demand. Collectors are always looking for these state quarters, especially the ones that are rarer, and this particular coin has a massive following. In fact, the 2000p South Carolina quarter with that mint mark has fetched prices as high as $1.9 million in auctions. That's right, this isn't just a nice-to-have collector's item. It's a serious investment for anyone who understands the value of rare coins. So, why does this coin command such a price? It's a combination of its rarity, its historical significance, and the fact that there are fewer and fewer of them in circulation. Coins like this one are like hidden treasure. They're part of a bigger puzzle in the world of numismatics. That's the fancy word for coin collecting. When you add a coin like this to your collection, you're not just holding on to a quarter, you're holding a piece of history that's increasing in value by the year. Now, I know you're probably wondering, how in the world do I find one of these? The truth is, finding a 2000p South Carolina quarter in mint condition isn't easy. They didn't make a ton of them, and the ones that did make it out there are in the hands of serious collectors. But that doesn't mean all hope is lost. Here are some tips for finding one of these valuable quarters. It might seem crazy, but it's always worth it to look through your change when you get it. You might just come across one in your pocket or at the local store. Some coin dealers may have them in stock, especially if they're dealing with higher-end collectibles. Websites like eBay sometimes have these coins up for auction. You'll want to do your research and check the coin's condition before bidding. So, there you have it. The 2000p South Carolina quarter is more than just a regular quarter. It's a coin that could be worth $1.9 million if you find one in the right condition. It's an exciting time to be a coin collector, and even more exciting if you happen to find one of these gems in your own collection or change. If you have any of these quarters, take a good look at them. Who knows, you might just be sitting on a gold mine. And remember, with coin collecting, patience and a keen eye are key. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the 2000p South Carolina quarter. If you found it helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you've ever come across any rare coins. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're anything like me, you love a good treasure hunt, and today, I'm bringing you a piece of American history that could put some serious cash in your pocket. Yeah, I'm talking about the 1995 D. Washington $quarter coin. And trust me, you'll want to hear how this little coin is now worth a staggering $2.20 million. I know, it sounds crazy, but stick around, because we're diving deep into why this coin is one of the most valuable quarters you'll ever come across. So, I've been collecting coins for years now. I remember my first big find was a 1932 quarter. It wasn't worth $2 million, but at the time, I felt like I struck gold. Fast forward to today, and I've learned so much more about rare coins and their values, and let me tell you, Finding a coin like the 1995 D Washington quarter is like hitting the jackpot. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a beginner, this coin is one you definitely want to keep an eye on. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's break down how this quarter went from ordinary to extraordinary. Alright, let's start with the basics. What makes the 1995 D Washington quarter so special? On the surface, it might seem like just another quarter, right? I mean, it's not one of those rare dates like 1932 or 1964, and it doesn't have any super obvious errors, or does it? The 1995 D quarter, like most of the modern coins, is made from a copper nickel clad. It's got George Washington's portrait on the front, and the back features the classic eagle and shield design. It's the 1995 D with a unique twist. The thing is, there are actually very few of these quarters out there in top-grade condition, and that's what makes them so valuable. Most of the 1995 D quarters are just regular circulation coins, but a small percentage of them are in absolutely perfect condition, or mint state. In fact, there's one rare variety that has caught the attention of coin enthusiasts and collectors, and that's the one that fetches those big bucks. Now, let's talk about why the 1995 D Washington quarter is worth a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. First off, the primary reason for its high value is its rarity in perfect condition. You see, the minting process isn't always flawless. Sometimes, the coins come out with small imperfections, scratches, smudges, or discoloration. But every so often, a coin emerges that's flawless, as if it was created by a magical process of coin minting perfection. In 1995, the U.S. Mint struck a batch of Washington quarters at the Denver Mint, and most of them went into circulation. But a few of these coins slipped through the cracks and survived in pristine, untouched condition. These coins are now what coin collectors call MS-68 or higher. MS stands for mint state, and 68 is a grade on the Sheldon scale, with 70 being the highest possible grade. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. And when a 1995 D Washington quarter hits MS-68 or higher, its value skyrockets. So, where do you find these elusive gems? Well, it's a bit of a treasure hunt. It's not like you can just walk into a store and buy one, right? Most of the 1995 D quarters you'll find are just your standard circulating coins. But if you're looking to find one of these million-dollar beauties, you'll need to sift through your change or check out online auctions, coin shows, and dealers. But it's not just about finding any 1995 D Washington quarter. You need to find one in exceptional condition. A lot of collectors will hunt for quarters that have been well kept, ones that might have been stashed away in a collection or carefully preserved over the years. But the truly rare ones, the ones worth millions, are those that have survived in mint condition, without a single blemish. So, if you've got any old change kicking around in your drawers, pockets, or coin jars, you might just have a small fortune hiding there. Now, let's talk about the current market value. As of today, if you manage to find a 1995 D Washington quarter in perfect condition, we're talking MS-68 or higher, it could be worth a staggering $2.2 million. Yes, you heard that right. This coin is sold at auctions for millions, and it's all because of that perfect grade. But how can a coin go from being worth just 25 cents to being worth millions? It all comes down to rarity and demand. There are only a few of these coins out there that are in the right condition, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar to get their hands on one. That makes this coin one of the most sought after in recent years, and if you find one, you could be sitting on a small fortune. I know, you might be wondering, what's so special about a quarter from 1995? Why does it command such an insane price? Well, the rarity is a huge factor, but there's more to it than that. Coins like this aren't just valuable because they're rare. They represent a piece of American history. When you hold a 1995 Washington quarter in your hand, you're holding a coin that was minted during a specific time in our nation's past, and the fact that it has survived in such pristine condition just makes it even more fascinating. For coin collectors, there's something almost magical about finding a coin that survived all these years without being damaged. It's a reminder that sometimes, the rarest treasures are the ones we least expect. And for those of us who love this hobby, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. The thrill of the chase makes it all the more rewarding when you find something truly valuable. The 1995 Washington $quarter coin, worth a whopping $2.2 million in perfect condition. If you come across one of these beauties, you could be holding on to a fortune. Now, I'm not saying you're going to find one in your pocket change tomorrow, but you never know. Keep an eye out, dig through your spare change, and who knows, you could be the next lucky person to strike it rich with one of these rare coins. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more coin hunting adventures. I'll be back soon with more tips, tricks, and stories from the world of coin collecting. And if you've found any rare coins yourself, share your stories in the comments. I love hearing about everyone's coin hunts and finds. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts. Imagine this, you're digging through your old change jar, and bam! You spot an unassuming 1988 Washington quarter. You think, just another quarter. But hold on. What if I told you that tiny piece of metal could be worth a staggering $2.3 million? That's right, folks. Today, we're diving deep into the story behind this legendary quarter, how to spot one, and how you could be sitting on a small fortune without even knowing it. So grab a seat, and let's talk about money that jingles and folds. I'll never forget the time a buddy of mine called me up, practically hyperventilating. "I think I just found $1 million quarter," he screamed. I laughed. "Yeah, sure, and I have a golden penny." But then he sent me a picture, and my jaw hit the floor. He had a 1988 quarter with some peculiar details. Long story short, he got it authenticated, and let's just say he doesn't have to worry about gas prices anymore. Could this happen to you? Let's find out. Not every 1988 quarter is a jackpot winner. So what makes this one worth a life-changing amount of money? Coins worth big money usually have rare errors. Look for misstrikes, doubling, off-centers, or any funky details that don't seem right. While most quarters from this era were made of copper nickel, some were accidentally struck on silver planchets from previous coin runs. If yours is silver? Jackpot. The sharpness of the details matters. A 1988 with a crisp, bold strike and no major damage? That's prime money-making condition. Look for doubling on George Washington's face, the word Liberty, or In God We Trust. If the design isn't perfectly centered, you might have a rarity. If your quarter weighs differently than normal, it could be on a foreign or silver planchet. Sometimes, the P was struck more than once, leaving a slight shadow effect. A standard 1988 quarter should weigh 5.67 grams. If yours is heavier or lighter, you might have something special. Use a jeweler's loupe or microscope to inspect the details. Look for doubling or anomalies. If your quarter has a solid silver edge, congratulations. You may have hit the jackpot. If your coin checks out, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC to confirm its rarity. Now let's talk money. The most valuable 1988 Washington quarter sold at auction for $2.3 million because of its minting error and condition. Other rare variations have sold for anywhere between $10,000 and $500,000. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these coins, especially if they're in MS67 or higher condition, which means virtually flawless. If you think you've got a valuable 1988 quarter, here's what to do. Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and great collections are the big players in selling rare coins. If you're confident in your coin's authenticity, you can sell it online, but beware of scammers. A local coin dealer can help appraise and even purchase your coin. Cleaning can significantly decrease their value. Store rare finds in protective holders to avoid damage. Always get a professional opinion before selling. So now you know. That 1988 P. Washington quarter in your pocket might just be your golden ticket. Check your spare change, go through old jars, and if you find something that looks unusual, take the time to investigate. Who knows? You might be sitting on $2.3 million. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a treasure hunting tip. Have you ever found a rare coin? Let me know in the comments.